Hi guys. So I was trying to figure out, I was like, what channel is this? The instruction is, hi, long time no see. It's Tony. I'm alive and doing well, and I haven't changed my battery to any of my things. Yeah, so how are you guys? Doing okay? Just popping back in. Essentially, like I am getting to the point where I want to like post more because I think I'm nearing the end of like this program and stuff like that. Like we're, wrapping it up. I also this semester has just been kind of crazy. I have more time. I feel like in April, May, I'm gonna have more time to like devote to making actual like videos. We'll kind of see. But yeah, popping in, doing okay. And I'm gonna like talk about some stuff that I find like so fascinating and have like a little ranty kind of thing. So, I've been watching this person. I'm still very much into like astrology and stuff like that. Just not like heavy into it. I feel like my desires for decks and stuff like that has shifted mainly because there's no good decks like out really. Like when I say out, I mean like out at like shops like Barnes and Noble. I think that there's like been a shift away from tarot decks. I think there was that period in like 2017, 2019, 2020, maybe 2021. I'll even give you a 2022 where like decks were like really popular and they were just like everywhere and everybody was coming out with them. I think that's has slowed down. I think shit has gotten real and people are like, let's do some other things. I think some people like it was a trend, so they hopped off the trend. And I think there are some people who like myself kind of went into it and were doing middling along and then kind of got disillusioned and then had their own like personal shit they had to like resolve. So a lot of the people that I followed on YouTube specifically, because I didn't really ever follow them on Instagram, but a lot of people I followed on YouTube like left. Like they closed their channels, you can't find them anymore. And that's been like a steady progress since the pandemic essentially. And so a lot of the people essentially I used to watch are no longer on here. So it's less of an incentive to like watch tarot stuff. It's really kind of sad because it's like I'll even like type up I'm that person. I will like type in their name just to see like because sometimes people like they'll go away for a really long time and then they come, like they come back for some one reason or another. So, uh, so I look into them from time to time, from time to time, and one person did like come back, but then like they've since like they came back for like one like one post on the little post section and then one video, and then they like dipped, and it was like damn, like I really like watched you for real. But I think people just kind of moved on with their lives, whether that means they just went offline with their tarot stuff or they just like stopped altogether. I know a few people have gone like to like religion or if they extended their religious studies, whether that be like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, whatever, or even just like African traditions or whatever, like traditions that are linked to like more their ethnicity. People have changed and grown. So it's kind of like a weird space. It's kind of almost feeling like there's people on here that like definitely I know that I've watched for years, but there's like so many new people that I'm like, you know? So there's that. So it's kind of like a weird feeling. I do want a few decks, but I think they're just kind of specialty decks from people's like websites directly, not necessarily shit that you can find in Barnes and Noble. I do want to get deeper into study. I'm having a bit of reversal, not a fortune, but a reversal of path. Um, I was a farm tech and then a massage therapist, and the massage therapy definitely did not work out the way that I thought. And so I essentially like quit that, and there's like a return to like the holistic space that I'm in. The I'm in I'm processing right now, and so I think I'll talk more about that when I talk about Aries in the eighth, because that's kind of where it is for me. So yeah, we'll talk about that more at a later date. But uh, I'm in the space of like really getting into that because I think again the disillusionment was happening, and just a lot of things was going on where I felt like I don't know, like I didn't want to be in the holistic space anymore, and I had a lot of growing up to do. And I think the reason why I'm able to maybe go back to it is because like I've fulfilled a very long held desire of mine, which is to like write. And so like I self-published a book, but I mean like formally like go back to school and learn to do that and write. And that's like a reality. And I think with that settled, kind of like psychologically settled, I can move on to like other things. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a big psychological undoing, and this rolls into something that I've been very fascinated with is looking into marketing and thinking about marketing. But I have been very fascinated, and I think I've said this in previous videos, like some of the previous videos that I've put out, but I've been very fascinated with like looking into pop culture and music and musical artists and actors and stuff like that. But musical artists especially, because I'm interested in how they market and trying to translate that into publishing. But that's for my like publishing writing channel. But what I've come to like really like are like these psychological deep dives, and they feel almost like astrological readings or astrological readings of sorts, or analysis rather. And I'm really liking them, and I'm really interested in it. And I don't know, it's kind of funny because we have this paradoxical death of celebrity culture, and the eighth house in Aries is the prism through which I'm seeing it, because that's how my natal chart is set up. So I'm seeing this Aries time of Aries Saturn, Aries Neptune as the death of stuff. I know a lot of people are probably seeing it as like rebirth, because bitch, like what? But I'm seeing it through that lens of death. So it's kind of like, that's my approach. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm just saying that that's the prism through which I'm seeing it, that change, essentially. So I'm like listening and watching these things, and I've watched a few. I like have been watching someone do like an analysis of Taylor Swift's and the recent album, and how, and like contextualizing it within the larger maybe psychological like space. And I think they're into astrology because they mentioned astrology too. And I really want to comment like, you would be a bomb ass astrologer if you like aren't into that, y'all. Like you would be really good, because I think they're really cool. But I feel like, I don't know, like I am looking into pop culture as like this psychological conscious like television screen, and just watching what's happening. And it's like very fascinating. Like it's almost like it's capturing the like consciousness of people. I don't know, like it's very interesting to watch. And yeah, like I have watched like a lot of, pretty much all of the videos talking about Taylor Swift. I think because I think there's a really large astrological question that I think is coming through about timing and placements. I also watched a video that they did about Lorde and her recent album, Virgin. And I'm just like very interested in stuff like this. And I'm interested in people's like thoughts about these things. But it just feels like almost like a mini astrology class. That's not an astrology class. It's more like pop culture analysis kind of things, you know? She did, like, the lady who I watched, she did do a video on Ariana Grande and the Saturn return and how that's reflected in the latest album. I don't know, like, these things are, like, very fascinating to me. And so I don't think people really get how much I can be into pop culture and stuff like that. Like, I may not be, like, every day looking into it, but I do look into it because I like aesthetica. I like fashion. I like makeup. I like music. Um, like hair and skincare. Like I like that stuff. I like that beauty. I like Venusian things because my Venus is in Taurus. But it's opposed Pluto, which is also why I like that psychoanalytical kind of like thing because it goes with it and then it like squares my moon. So it's like I'm really into it. And Scorpio's in my third house too. So I really like the analysis of stuff. Because it is a subtle projection of like your attitude. It's like a subtle projection of the consciousness and the stuff that's going on in the back. How you dress, how you speak, how you like interact with people. Like these are little cues and stuff like that, like behavioral cues and psychological and consciousness cues. So I've been really fascinated with stuff like that. So there's that. The other thing, which is more of a rant, but leading into the U.S. is going to be turning 250 in July. I'm an American. I'm not ashamed to say that. I don't really care if people are upset. I also like that. Like it just doesn't bother me. What I would like to say to the astrology people, even tarot people sometimes, can we just not focus on the US as much? Like I understand like what's happening and I feel like it's more like wanting to have political commentary, and I just don't feel like astrologically we should be focusing on the US as much as we are. It kind of irks me a little bit, and I feel like there's a little bit of like agenda behind how people are reading charts, how people are like actually analyzing stuff. I don't think there's neutrality. I think we're definitely in the age of Aquarius where there's this polarity kind of thing and polarizing and need to polarize with how we give commentary. Like Aquarius is not a neutral sign. I think people like to think that like Aquarius is neutral. I have always said Aquarius is very egoic. I think that's a part of the fixed signs thing, egoism. And that's okay, but I just don't think Aquarius is like this ultra neutral kind of thing. Even I've like said in recent like other videos that like activism is slightly egoic. The way that you want to shift like the paradigm for everyone under the guise of it being the right thing, even if it is the right thing, it's still like an egoism kind of thing. Because when you bump up against that resistance, then you kind of get like people tend to get very aggressive about enforcing this stuff, and they tend to overcorrect, and they tend to not have the conversations to where they can come together and kind of be more down the middle. It's usually my way, the highway, and I don't care what side of the political thing you're on within the U.S. or anywhere, but I am so tired of us focusing on the US astrologically. I'm personally invested because I'm an American, but I would like, especially if you aren't in the US, dear God, like, can you do the astrology of your country? Like, make some videos for that? Because I would be very curious about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, I truly believe, like, every country has its own psychoanalytic work to do, and everybody has like this realm of consciousness that like binds you to your countrymen. And I just kind of like, I want more videos about that, and maybe they're just not in the language, right? They're not in English, so I really won't know. But I'm like, if you were doing that work, can you like link that to me or something like that so I can like get into that? Because I feel like the other complaint I have is that like people are like this idea of like the US isn't the center of the world while simultaneously making it the center of the world in many ways. I think there's just a lot of reflection back to people that's happening that is going along with, right, the stuff that the US is doing and participating in. I think it's both and. I don't think it's one or the other. I think it's both and. But I absolutely am annoyed that we tend to be very US centered on astrology. Like, give us a good like chart of the UK or France or Nigeria or South Africa or like Ethiopia or Peru or something like that. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of things astrologically happening in other places that I'm just like, can we just not focus on the US? Because I don't think astrologically this is a time to focus on the US. Astrologically, I think this, yeah, like give us like the end of the decade and then like do it, you know? I just feel like there's other places that like really need to be like like looked at. Anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm back, bitch. That's what I'm thinking. I just feel like, yeah, like everything, a lot of things have shifted. I've shifted. Some other stuff is happening in the background now of my life. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to figure this out and just settle those things psychologically and mentally. But as I get closer to finishing this semester in this program, I think I'll have more time to kind of do this. So yeah, so I'm excited. So yeah, yeah. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.